Welcome back to the Motion Picks. Today I'm going to talk about a little film called Sing Street. And you might be asking yourself, Sin Street? Why would I want to watch that? That sounds incredibly seedy. Not Sin Street, Sing Street. The film is written and directed by Irish filmmaker John Carney, who has made a name for himself with independent musical films. And when I say musical film, I'm not talking about the kind of musicals where someone just jumps into a song and dance routine halfway through a conversation. No, I'm referring to films that are musical, or that are about music. A lot like this year's Sing Street, which is about a 15-year-old boy growing up in the Republic of Ireland who, although he is quite musical, hasn't quite tapped into his potential yet. But when his frequently quarrelling parents fall in hard times, they force him to move to this really rough public school that threatens to make him into a man. And so through enduring hardship at school and encountering the film's main love interest, who of course has lovely 80s hair and makeup, he now has sufficient material for his songwriting. So he gathers together the Irish musical equivalent of the Goonies and they form the band Sing Street. And of course, musical magic ensues. If you've got to this stage of the review and you're thinking to yourself, I don't know if I want to see that, it sounds fairly cliche. Well, if that's you, here are 5 things that make this movie great. Number 1, the setting. The film's a period piece set in working class Ireland in the mid-1980s. On the one hand, it's a nostalgia trip taking us back to a time when everybody rode bicycles and listened to cassette tapes. On the other hand, it doesn't gloss over the reality of the socio-economic hardship people were facing at the time. Furthermore, we know that we're being guided by a director who actually lived in this context at this time. So it's a faithful recreation without any weird anachronisms or anything. Number 2, tone. Sing Street is a fairly upbeat, downbeat film. What I mean by that is that it has the energy of a feel-good movie, yet it also has some sharp edges. The language, drug references, and realistic bouts of violence aren't toned down. Just about everything in the film feels realistic, and that of course applies to the emotional content. But we frequently get a feel-good escape when our characters are like, "Stuff you, hardship, I'm gonna play some music." Number 3, humour. Sing Street is a dramedy, so it's not all about the laughs. And that's what I like about the comedy in this film. It's not like they're trying to make you laugh all the time, it just flows naturally. It's also funny in a very Irish way, which is always a plus for me. And of course, if you're a fan of Irish accents, this movie won't disappoint. But don't go in expecting any jokes about potatoes. Performances. I'm really sorry about that. But the performances in this movie are... It's mostly a cast of unknown child actors who are able to flesh out these characters with the utmost realism. Look, there's not one off performance in the entire cast, which is impressive given the film's demands. Even Jack Rayner, who is unfortunately most famously known for Transformers: Age of Extinction, gave a performance that completely changed my opinion of him as an actor. And lastly, 5. The music. I mean, the soundtrack for this movie is just great. On the one hand, you've got classic 80s jams from the likes of Duran Duran, Motorhead and The Cure. And then there's the original songs, which are brilliant. In fact, most of the original songs from the film were composed by an actual 80s music veteran, Gary Clark, along with the film's director and some of his mates. So even the original music in the film feels authentically 80s. But boy are those songs catchy. I'm expecting at least one of those songs to be nominated for Best Original Song at the Oscars next year. At least one. But they're all pretty great. So those are 5 reasons why you should probably watch this movie. Stuff probably, if you get the chance, you should check this out. And if you need any further incentive, I have no shame in admitting that it is probably my favourite film of the year so far. Wait, I didn't sell that well enough. Sing Street is my number 1 film of the year so far, and it is... sensational. Unfortunately, Sing Street is actually in limited release across the country, so it might not be in your closest cinema. It is worth seeking it out. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and hit subscribe for the full Motion Picks experience. Till next time.